I hope that's okay. I was going to start to tell you a little bit about me and my story. I have one slide, I can see. I started my tech company it's 7 years ago now. It's an app company. And I have no experience at all in tech business. I'm not a programmer. I have been working with like fashion for all my life and restaurants, and my father, he had hotels and restaurants and nightclubs. So I'm not a gamer. And why I'm telling you this is because I think it's very important to know that you can do whatever you want. My daughter came home for about 7 years ago now, and she had a really hard time to learning the math table. So we were looking at App Store if we could find one for her, and I couldn't. She couldn't and I couldn't. And then I was thinking, maybe I should do an app on my own. And all of my friends and my family were like, you are crazy because you can't make an app. You can't make an app if you're not a programmer. And I was thinking, of course I can, because there are programmers out there. I don't have that skills, but it is people out there that has the skills that I don't have. So I searched for people that I wanted to work with. I did that online, and I had a team with 3 people. And I was sitting at my kitchen table every night, Skyping with them, and trying to tell them what I wanted to have in this app, and what my daughter wanted to have, and her friends, and how we would do everything with it. I think it took about 2 or 3 months, and then we had the app. And that was amazing for me, because when you can't do anything in tech, and finally you're like, I want to have an app, and there I was with this app. And that made me hungry. So I made 20 apps in 1 year, sitting from my kitchen table, just making apps. I didn't make them, as you understand. I had all the ideas for the app. And one of the apps was, as you said, Anders, was a health diet app. It was this 5-2 health diet. And Michael Mosley made this diet in England. And as you all know, the diets are always like a success. Everybody wants to go on a diet, especially when it's a new diet. And a friend of mine called me and she said, have you heard about this diet? And I think she called me because she asked if I wanted to go on the diet, but the only thing I was thinking about was that, does he have an app? He didn't. He was coming to Sweden in August that year to release his book in Swedish. And so I released the app the same day he was here. That's smart, I have to say, because since he didn't have an app, and he was getting really, really famous with his name, the 5-2 Health Diet. So we, of course, named the app the 5-2 Health Diet app. And for like in 3 days, we had hundreds of downloads. And I was in front of the magazine 4 times in 1 month. And this is quite funny because they were calling me from like Expressen and Aftonbladet, and they thought that I was this health diet expert. So they asked me like, what's your best smoothie recipes? And I remember I was sitting on the subway and I was like, bananas, strawberries. And because I could see the marketing also in this. That because they made me this health diet coach and everything, and in the same time I had the app. So the app, I was selling like so much of this app. When I coach people today, if they have one app idea, I say to them that you really need to know that your app idea is really, really good, because it's hard to earn money from apps today. So that was why I wanted to build the app company and not only having an app. So today we have Stockholm Upload, that one, and we have a team in India, and we are starting with a team in South Africa. And we will also have this femtech for females in South Africa, entrepreneurs. And we are 3 people here in Stockholm working with it. When my programmer, he was located in Ukraine, and he didn't want to stay here. He just had a newborn baby, and he was just got married. So I hired him here in Sweden, and when he came here we couldn't sit at home at my kitchen table anymore, so we had to get an office, and to get an office you need money. So we thought, what can we do now? What's the next big idea? And we started to look at games, app games. And we had this idea that maybe if you could just walk around with your phone and like Monopoly, and you can like build hotels or restaurants and do things like that. Maybe we can do an app like that. And what's that? That's location-based gaming, like Pokemon. We didn't know anything about Pokemon when we started this. And we just had everything on paper, the whole business idea we had on paper. And I was going out because I had to seek for investors. And today I'm like, for all of you, you're gonna do this so much better, because I was really standing there with this paper and like, oh, would you like to invest in my company? And many of them were like, is this your idea? Yes, it's really good, please look at it. But the fun part was that they did. Because location-based is so new and everybody wants to be a part of something new. So when I went to Norway to Petter Stordalen, I don't know if you know who that is. It's a quite big hotel guy. And I presented my idea for him, and he called me 2 days after and he said, how much money do you need? And that was the first time when I was like feeling like, this is a good idea. Because someone else was looking at my idea, not my friends and not my family, because every time you are presenting your idea to a friend or a family, they will always say, oh, this is so good, because they love you. You have to present it to someone else. And that's also why I really like this Founders Institute, because persons who is going this program, they have us. And we are not your mother or father or friend. We are someone that really are looking at your idea and saying this is good or this is not good. And this is half good, but if you do like this or that, it's going to be so much better. I have to take a look at this one now. Yeah, and then I wrote a book that was quite fun. Because so many people called me and mailed me and asked me, so how did you make your app? And I thought that I could just write a book about it. So we launched that 2 weeks ago on Amazon, and when I was sitting here now, I just got a photo of the book. The real book was home at my place. So I'm like so excited to go home and just read it. That's quite fun. So I think that being an entrepreneur today, it's quite hard. Everyone talks about that being an entrepreneur is this rock star thing, and you can stand on the stages and you can be at 46 or Epicenter or all these hubs everywhere, and you can just play ping pong and everything is just fun. It's not. It's really, really hard to have a startup. I mean, I have 3 startups now, and I mean, like the game company, we were almost bankrupt 3 times. I had 14 employees and we couldn't even pay them their monthly paycheck at one time. But as an entrepreneur, you always stand up and you just do like this and you walk that way, and you'll figure everything out, because your company and your idea, that's your baby, and you will take care of your baby as you take care of your baby, and you make sure that they will grow and that everything will be okay. Even if you don't have the money at that point, you will always find a solution for everything. I did. I remember that my board called me and they said, like, you have 2 days now to get 2 million crowns into the company, or on Monday we will shut the company down. So I was like lying in my bed with a computer, a little glass of wine, big, and and just looking at my network. And I don't have rich friends in my network, but maybe they have, or maybe they knew someone who has money or are an investor. So I did that, and in 48 hours we had 2 million crowns in the account.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's because the network. It's so important that you are networking when you are a startup. Sometimes you will feel like, I don't want to go to this network thing or this dinner or whatever it is, but do it, because you will always meet someone who knows someone that will always lead you or take you to the next level in the company. Yeah. So now I have been talking about myself for a while, and I will take my papers. I think that before you do anything with your idea, you really have to check everything about it. Has someone else done it before? Perhaps, but maybe you can do it better. I'm coaching this girl right now, and she has a really good app idea, and I think that I can't tell you what it is, of course, but I think that it's like 10 apps as similar to her. But hers is a little bit better. And she had made her research very, very well. She had all the apps downloaded, she has all the newsletters, and she's really good at looking at everyone who is making the same thing that she wants to do. So I really believe that she's going to be so much, her app is going to be so much better than the rest of them. So I think that's the thing that I would really like to tell you. And also, please, again, don't ask your friends and family, because they will always love you. And since I'm sitting here right now, I'm a mentor and I'm a coach in my own company, and always here, and also here. And I really missed that when I started my company. I did everything on my own. And that was because I couldn't find a coach that was in my field. I was in the tech field. And I couldn't find one that I liked, or someone who looked at me and said, I want to help you with this. So I was alone, and that made me going through lots of mistakes. Lots of mistakes. And you will also, of course, walk through lots of mistakes, but I think it's going to be easier if you have someone to talk to, and someone who maybe have been doing this journey, the journey that you are going to do now, have done it before.
Do you take any questions?
Yes, I will. Not right now, but of course after. And who's in your team? You also talked about team. And I think it's quite important that you take a look at your team. And if you don't have a team, if it's only you, maybe you should think about if you maybe should actually get a team. Because you can't be good at everything. I mean, you don't have all the skills that you need to build your company. When I started my first company, and I had to be the CEO, the CTO, and the CFO, just like crazy. And I also had to take care of the employees, and I had to make the vacancies about them. They wanted me to buy coffee, and yes, of course, because that's how it is to have a startup. You have to do everything on your own. But if you find someone, and not a friend that has the same skills as you have, if you find someone who has the skills that you don't have, I think that your company will grow so much faster. And that's also the thing about mentoring, because then you can talk to someone who's expert in an area that you're not. So that's about the team. So if you're alone, try to find someone who maybe you can build your company with. And no questions are too stupid. That's also very important. I have people contacting me, and they are emailing me sometimes, and they're actually writing that they feel stupid about the questions that they are asking. And that's why they are asking me, because I think that since I wasn't a tech girl when I started this, I was a little bit blue-eyed, blue-eyed, and I didn't know anything about anything in the tech. So when people are asking me things, they are never too stupid. And that's also one thing about the Founders Institute, that you can always ask questions to anyone, and no questions will be too stupid for them or for us, because we are here to help you succeed with your company and your ideas. It's so quiet in here. Okay. And one more thing that I want to talk about with the business ideas, that's investors. Maybe you don't need investor today, but probably you will be needing it in a couple of months or a couple of years. And they will of course look at your business idea, and they will ask you for the business plan. And that's also one thing that is really, really important, that you have to know your plan. You need to know your plan when you're sleeping. I mean, if someone is knocking on your door and they said, how much money do you need? You must tell them about exactly what you need and what you are expecting from them, and your budget and your business idea and everything. So don't forget that. That's really, really important, that your plan and your goals, you have written them down, and in a really nice way. And this is also one more thing about the investors, that I think that you should date them. You should have coffee and lunch, maybe drinks, because when someone is coming to you with the money, you are getting so excited and so happy that someone wants to give you the money, but you don't know who's behind the money. everyone is always looking at you. If I'm an investor, I will go to you and I will say, okay, so what's your idea? And you are forgetting to look at me. Like, who am I? And where is my money coming from? And what will I do with your company? If you're going to bet with someone, you want it to be a really good person. So that's really, really important, that you take a look at your investors and you really talk to them. Don't get stressed. Even if you need the money real fast, try to just date them for a quite long time, I think. You said that 50% of the startups is failing. I say 9 or 10 startups fail. And you don't want to be one of them. You want to be the one who actually had to succeed. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was sitting there so I couldn't see how many of you in here had the great idea. I really like this. Yeah, that's nice. That's really, really nice. So you're on the right place. Yeah. But you should also know that even if you fail, it's okay to fail. You just have to stand up again, because if you believe in your idea or your company, you just have to get up and, as I said before, just go there. And you also have to listen to others as the mentors or the persons that you have in your company, because sometimes you think that your idea is the best idea, but it isn't. And maybe you don't have to take the idea and throw it out of the window, but maybe you have to do something else with the idea. So that's also very, very important for me, and I really want to tell you that it's okay to fail, and it's okay to cry and just do like this and everything, because it's really, really hard to have a startup today. So many of you want to have a startup and you think that your idea is the best idea, and I really, really hope so. And we are here to help you with that. I was looking at you. So what's the time?
Take your time.
Take my time,
Yeah.
it's okay. Should I take the Q&As now, or are we doing that after?
We were thinking about doing Josef first and then
Yeah.
have a common Q&A. But I guess if there are some short questions, we could do that.
Yeah. If you have any short questions, just yes.
Yeah, you said in the beginning that you just sat down by your table and you were contacting people, and then you found a few app developers.
Yes.
How did you find them? Like, did you pay for them, or you just found
From the
people that
beginning, I
liked your
Googled
idea?
it. I was like, how do you make your own app? And then you have Upwork. And that's a company that has people all over the world. So I had my programmer in Ukraine, my developer in India, and the girl who was writing everything in Poland. It's quite hard because they have to send you things, because if someone says to you that, oh, I'm this great programmer, and you believe him, and after 3 months you can see, because you don't know, as I didn't know anything about programming, so they could really fool me.
Yeah.
So I have to look at the works that they have been doing before. So if I wanted, my first app was this Kids Matthew app. So I was looking for people who had made similar apps. And then I interviewed them through Skype. And luckily I found my team quite fast. But I know today that people are really, really struggling with finding their teams. And you can't, maybe you can, but it's hard also to hire a programmer here in Stockholm because it's so expensive. And
But you paid for this?
Yes,
You paid.
yeah, I paid for it, but not so much as you are doing in Stockholm.
Yeah.
No, like nothing at all. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, on the theme of teams,
Yeah.
if you have like a particular kind of focus, my name is Ulrich Warren, by the way. If you have a particular focus, for example, you want to do something related to sustainability, how do you find a co-founder that has a similar passion? Because I guess it would be easier if you're kind of like on the same page.
Yeah. Oh, that's a hard question. How do you find them? By networking and being on things like this, I think, and I mean going to all these venture caps events and everything, and you also have to be. People have to see you. You can't just hide in a basement somewhere. You need to go out there and tell what you need. Tell people what you need. And I mean, if you get like 5 minutes on a stage and you would like say to everyone, "This is what I need. I need someone who is good at legal." because I have no skills in that, and the idea that I have has to do with legal. So I'm seeking for a co-founder that's good at legal. But you can't expecting people to just know about you. You have to go out there and tell them what you need.
Okay. If anybody wants to start further related to sustainability or poverty reduction, just come up to me after the talk.
And this is the way we should do it. I mean, if you are alone with some idea, you should just get up and say, hey, I'm Anna or whatever, and I have an idea. It's great. Who wants to join me? We have to do that. We can't just sit and expecting people to see us otherwise.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
You said that you created around 10 apps, and how did you market them? And, how did you get
How I market that?
Yeah.
The 5.2 app was easier because since this Michael Mosley wrote the book. But we did it on Facebook from the beginning. Facebook ads, everyone is saying like, what's Facebook? I mean, is it really good? But my target was on Facebook. Female between 18 or 40, and so we did so much advertising on Facebook. Yeah, and then we also started a blog, and we started a website in US called Susan's Health, and we hired 4 bloggers. So I was writing about health and workout and family life and everything. So through that website, we could sell the app. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, this is Jayesh. How safe is it to talk about your idea, when you are hiring people or you're building up a team of unknown people? How safe is it to talk about your idea? I mean,
How safe?
Yes.
To tell other people about your idea?
Yes.
I think you should tell them. I think that there's so many people who wants to sign the NDA and they want to be quiet about because they think that they have the best idea in the whole wide world. But I think that you should just get together with people that you want to work with, and you have to tell people about your idea. If you don't go out and tell people about your idea, you will never get any money, or you will never get any programmers or whatever. I have always been telling people about my ideas because I think that you more people you are on your idea, the better it is. I want to have people around me that know what I'm doing. That's what I think. Yes?
Right, thank you.
One
I think
more.
we'll take some more questions after we listen to Joseph. That's fine. You choose whether you stay on the stool or you have a seat in the meanwhile.
I will let the stage be.
Yeah. So welcome.